right? And so this woman, it might not really be all physical features, but there are some elements, if you find in the woman I've married, they're similar to my mom's.
What's the effect of trying to look for someone in someone else?
It's very different from this, because this one, you go for it unconsciously. Let me even try to bring it more home, where you and your mom, I mean, we all love our mothers, right?
Yeah.
So when you're out there, the first love that will come to be, because there is a certain character, not really about even the physiques, could be how this person, even like how they look,
Cooking.
maybe even they are cooking, just something that smells like your mom's kitchen. And so that's what unconsciously will pull you to them without knowing. So what you're falling in love with is a trait, your mom's trait in this person.
So you
I get it.
So you don't go looking.
It's
It's
unconscious.
It's unconscious.
So you don't go looking.
I mean, love is never seen.
And
Right?
it mustn't be true that me labda I fell in love na umreanji kwa sababu
No, hatumaanishi 100%. Tunasema
Luku,
most of the
ama ni
time.
ndoa yake
As in,
tunafuata.
in your eyes, mtu yani anakuimpress.
Sasa
Let me tell you something. A lady who has grown up seeing the dad maybe abusing substance, in this case alcohol, they are more likely to be married with by an alcoholic husband.
and non-alcoholic or
Alcoholic. Why? Because to them, they will fall in love with the trait of their dad. I mean, unapenda tu baba
chill
yako.
out. My dad abused alcohol.
Yes.
And if we abuse alcohol, we know what the effects are.
Yes. When you're looking at it psychologically, yes. Yes.
No, even financially.
Yes.
If we don't take control of our consumption of alcohol, the family is messed, right?
Exactly.
So I will still end up falling in love with someone who consumes a lot of alcohol, you mean?
Get this. You've not processed having a dad or even an abusive parent in your life, right? You've never heard of a scenario where I grew up being abused by my dad, or I saw my mom being abused by my dad, and currently I didn't know that history will repeat itself because I'm being abused by my current husband. It's because this person never processed what they saw. We talk about the maladaptive behaviors that they grew up seeing. They never processed. So what happened, unconsciously there is comfort in what you know, as much as it's not a positive thing. So yes, you do not like their habit. The behavior, you absolutely do not, because you can compare with your dad. But remember, you never processed. So if something is left unprocessed, you unconsciously fall in love with this person because they're reminding you of your dad, and there is that pure love of daughter, daddy, son, mothers.
And don't we aspire for better? If my dad was abusive or was physical, or my mom was absent, don't we aspire for better? Because we lacked when we were growing up. We'd like to have now that we are grown.
And you don't want to inherit that.
Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me a chance to invite people to come for counseling, because when you come, we really want to see, on a serious note, we really want to see, why are you this mad that you grew up with an abusive dad, and you are also with an abusive husband. We try now to define marriage and husband, and we get to know you actually never married the love of your life. You married your dad in it.
Yes.
Okay, there is that bit of saying maybe you are used to it, so you find comfort in it because that is
the only way you know.
Yes, you're getting it. But I'm asking, can't we have the opposite? Do we have scenarios and issues where you realize that I don't want to get a man who will even touch me because my mom...
Just like the way you are being...
Awareness.
Just before you respond to that, so there is a situation, and I read a certain book that talks about if a woman tends to have lived in an abusive relationship where she saw the father beating the mother, there is a high possibility she might also decide not to get married.
There is that. That's what I'm asking. Like, you aspire for the opposite of what you received growing up. You want to do better, especially if what you grew through was actually negatively impacting your life, right? That's a topic for...
Yes, when you are more aware, you know now the direction to take.
And is awareness what you're calling processing?
Yes, exactly. Just as we go on, a lady came and said, one thing, if you ever, during my dating life, if anyone ever came to me and they talked about living anywhere along Mombasa Road, I would look the other direction. Why? My dad was a pilot. I saw the behavior and character, and I just said, I will never ever marry someone who is like my dad, because there was that awareness. So for her, airport and Mombasa Road was final. I mean, where do you stay? No, I'm not going that
And
direction.
yeah, if you're aware, does being aware mean actually the opposite? Like, just because I'm aware that my dad misbehaved when we were growing up, that I mustn't have someone like my dad, or you can actually be aware and now guide even people who you're interacting with. Like, if you do this, I don't like it because it reminds me of this and I won't appreciate it. Or must it be totally a no-go zone?
Self-discovery and discovery of others, so you'll be able to know, have seen such a character before. I know how such people they behave and how it can end up being. So for you not to remind me of where I'm coming from.
Stop this.
Exactly, because you are more aware. But now think of when someone is not aware. So you'd be happy and saying Misawa too, because I also grew up seeing my mom suffering. So it's the nature of women or the nature of men.
You see, that is what we call radio. Like, sometimes you plan to do stuff and then you end up doing what you never planned to do. In literature, you're going to do a